Next to him, we have Tim Walker, who's spent 20 years travelling the world to tell natural history, adventure and science stories, and therefore probably one of the best films in the world. And over there we have Dr. Darren Naish, who is the Chief Scientific Consultant, which is effectively long for dinosaur expert, and he knows everything there is to know about dinosaurs apart from the stuff we haven't discovered yet. So, I'm going to ask a question of them each, and then we're going to go to you, which this red light is not going to be hugely helpful in me identifying you, but we'll work something out. There are people wandering around with mics, so what I'll do is I will point at you, and then if you can wait till the mic gets to you so that we can hear you, and that would be helpful, otherwise we won't be able to. So, Mike, first of all, how did this come about? How did this phenomenal thing begin?
Well, actually it came about in quite a strange way. It came about, I was standing on a mountainside on the equator in Africa with Sir David Attenborough, and we were doing the introduction to a series about Africa. That's why we're there. And he, in his opening piece, talks about it and says, "Nowhere on earth does wildlife put on a greater show." That was his kind of right. So I said, "Great, thank you, cut." Backing up, I thought, actually, is that true? I wonder if this is the greatest moment. In fact, I wonder what would happen if you went back in time, and the time of the dinosaurs would have probably been the great, when wildlife put on its greatest show. So I thought, could you take him and all the crew that were standing on that mountainside, and all the cameras and all the stuff we used to make Africa or planet Earth, stick him in a time machine, fly them back 65 million years, 66 million years ago, and try and make a wildlife film just as we were making that. And that was the thing that sort of plagued my head for many years, thinking about how to develop that, how could we do that. Because the trouble is, all very well, but how do you get that time machine? And it wasn't until I met Jon Favreau, who had made The Lion King, where, I don't know if you've all seen The Lion King, where he creates those wonderful stories of the lions, the talking lions, in CG. And he had those keys because he knew how to bring extinct animals to life using CGI. So we got together and discussed doing this, and he said, "This is a great idea." So off we were. And then we gathered together a huge team, of which some are here, 1,500 people ultimately in the end. And after 3 years of that, that's what we did. That's what you saw.
Well, a quick supplementary question to that. I spoke to you before, and what I love is that Jon Favreau, the man who directed Iron Man, Lion King, and Jungle Book, was massively intimidated by you and David Attenborough, and really was very, very nervous and wanted David Attenborough's approval on everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was very generous. I mean, he's obviously a brilliant director, but he knew that the world we were stepping into was what we do. And actually, he said it was the journey that we've all gone on has been a great experience for him. He's learned a lot, as of course we have learned from him. I think it is a very interesting meeting of minds, and I think that's why what you see is kind of unique. You've got 3 different worlds: the extraordinary science, John's brilliance at CGI, and the natural history, the BBC natural history is 70 years of experience making wildlife films.
So Tim, how do you shoot a Tyrannosaurus Rex? Partly also because of you, but also because it's been dead for 65 million years. What you've shot it? It's clearly not an entirely CGI show. What have we been watching there?
Well, it's a magical blend of art and science. There's one particular sequence in the series which people are going to have to subscribe to get it, because it's shown in the title sequence where we see 2 T-Rex nuzzling each other, and it's like, I'm a dad, right? A dad of 2 kids, and you're not supposed to have a favourite child, are you? But I've got a favourite sequence, and it's that sequence. We see the 2 T-Rex come together, and the thing to remember is that, like you say, you could never actually be in certain places when you've got an animal that's 12 metres long and 10 tonnes, with the strongest bite force ever known of land-living animals. Yeah. So you've got to put that into your mind when you're creating the CGI. And like Mike says, we've got the best CGI team on Earth at the moment that have been working with us. We've got marvellous VFX supervisor at our end, Lindsay, a wonderful team of wildlife filmmakers. And so you blend all of that together, and you think about the type of shots that you could actually get if you were in the field with an animal that would just take you in one go, if it wanted to. And so we think about the types of shot that you would get from a long lens. The people that have made this, some of them have been in the field for many years filming animals, and we know what kind of shots you could get. And so we've applied that rationale and that grammar to what you see on the final screen. So go out to the field, shoot as you would do if the animals were there, then the magic happens and you drop the animals in. And you end up with this. And what a privilege to watch it with this group of people. I hope everyone likes it as much as we like making it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And Darren, you're not just an advisor, you're also researching, as this was being made. I think, is it 30? How many papers did you publish during the making of this?
It's about 17, I think, including books.
And so, obviously, for me growing up with dinosaurs, I didn't think dinosaurs looked like that. What was the most exciting and innovative element of the way that our understanding about dinosaurs' understanding has grown in the series?
So this is a chance to bring to you, the mainstream audience, people in general, this entirely new view that we have, not just of dinosaurs, but of the marine reptiles that lived at the same time as dinosaurs and the flying reptiles, the pterosaurs. Our understanding of what these animals were like, what they actually looked like, is very different from the view of a couple of decades ago. And I'm absolutely thrilled that we've been able to bring to you a fully modern view. You'll have noticed such things as the dinosaurs tend to have, air quotes, softer faces than traditionally shown. You can't see your teeth sticking out all over the place. They have a large amount of soft tissue on their faces. They have lips sheathing their teeth, not lips like what we have, but lips like those of lizards and snakes. Feathers and filaments and quill-like structures, and even eyelashes were quite common in dinosaurs and were present in the pterosaurs as well. The result is a view of these animals that makes them animals. They look more like real animals than the kind of like fairly ugly, scaly, lumpy, bumpy versions that were otherwise present just a few decades ago. So I'm thrilled that we've brought a modern view of these animals to the mainstream audience.
So, does anyone have any questions for our panel? You were first over there. I'm going to prejudice this by going in younger people get precedence. So, if you would hold on a second, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down in years and move over to those two people here who are right by each other side, hands both here. Either you've got different questions or the same question. I don't know. But if you could take a microphone before you ask your question. There we are, you ready?
What's your favourite dinosaur?
What's our favourite dinosaur? No, we hate them all. Don't like them. As Tim said, it's impossible. You ask us a different day, we'll say a different thing. But I'll say the one that I have said most often, and which is that, you know that little one with the tongue that goes out and it has that lovely little thing that does all that? Mononicus? That's my favourite. Because when I've made wildlife films for donkey's years, I've always liked and sort of tried to feature some of the smaller, the underdog animals in naturalism, not just lions and elephants. And that animal to me has got such character, such personality, such an extraordinary adaptations to living in that environment. And I think the way it's filmed and the way it's been animated, that I want a pet. I want one to take home. And maybe we can do that.
Well,
that's
maybe.
my favourite.
Have you still got the microphone? What's your favourite dinosaur?
I'm not really sure.
Oh. Well, my favourite one is Dinochirus, which was in the title sequence. It looks like a great big, funny, duck-billed platypus thing. It's got loads of shaggy feathers on and like a blue bit on its face, a big bill like that. It's massive as well, and it lives in swampy marshland. So we see that in the freshwater episode. So once again, you're going to have to subscribe to see it.
And today, my favourite dinosaur, it changes every day, today is Therizinosaurus, which if you have very good eyes and know your dinosaurs, you will have noticed it at the waterhole sequence in the deserts episode. Imagine a chicken that's about 30 foot long and has a giraffe-like neck and has 1 metre long giant curved claws on its hands. That's Therizinosaurus. It's a truly bizarre dinosaur, and you're going to get to know it in 1 or 2 of our episodes.
It's funny, we've all picked feathered dinosaurs. Isn't that weird? Yeah, there you go.
Another question. So just down in the front here with the white T-shirt and I think look at James Dean jacket look. That's a reference lost on almost everybody. Okay, there and then down to here. I'm literally no idea what's going on. So if we start there and then come down to James Dean.
What was the first species of dinosaur ever to be discovered?
The first species of dinosaur ever to be discovered. Do you know anyone that might know that?
Do you know the answer? Because Darren always says he knows more than anybody, so let's hope he doesn't know and you do.
This is a trick question. Because are dinosaurs extinct, yes or no?
No.
No. Birds are dinosaurs. Birds are dinosaurs the same way that you humans are mammals, birds are dinosaurs. So what was the first bird to be scientifically discovered? It was, of course, the domestic chicken. I don't know what the first bird to be discovered was because, of course, people have always been surrounded by birds. In terms of the dinosaurs that aren't birds, which is the answer you probably want, it is indeed Megalosaurus bucklandi, which was discovered in Oxfordshire in England in the late 1700s and scientifically named in 1824. So Megalosaurus is the first non-bird dinosaur to be scientifically described. And in 1842, a scientist called Richard Owen realises that Megalosaurus and a couple of other big fossil reptiles represent this new group, which he calls dinosaurs, which means basically awesome giant reptiles.
Megalosaurus means even bigger.
We could get the microphone down here, and then I've been ignoring the people over there. They're only small people. Ooh, that's going to be tricksy. We got another microphone over there for the third question. So if we go first with you, I'm going to call you James, but you got the mic. You're not James, I realise, but if you could ask a question anyway. So.
How did you animate it to make it look so realistic?
How do we animate it to make it look so realistic? Well, look, it's amazing. There are an amazing team of people that have spent a lot of time studying real animals, and so they've been what we call honing their skill. They've been practicing and practicing and practicing on making things like cats and lions and elephants and buffalo, making them look real for many films that have been made. And then we worked alongside them to work out how the dinosaurs would look and the other animals as well. That's a good point, actually, isn't it? Like, one of the things we should say, we keep on saying dinosaurs, but the things in the sky are the pterosaurs and the things in the water are marine reptiles. So the dinosaurs are only on the land, apart from one true dinosaur. Let's be honest. Well, we'll get into that later.
We are close to the end of the session, so...
Oh, God, sorry.
Skip to the end.
So we spend loads and loads of time practicing, loads and loads of time looking at living animals, and one of the tricks that also gets done is sometimes the animators wear special, like, morph suits with little lights on, and they walk around like this, and try and practice the motion, and they capture it, it's called mocap, and then they turn that into little computer, like, images, which they start to manipulate. So it's a load of practice, basically.
And we spent a lot of our pocket money.
So, and then we have a question over there, which you had your hand up. They have a little, who was there? White t-shirt, over there. So we got 1, 2, and seeing as there was a grown-up there who asked the very first question, we'll end on the grown-up there. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm afraid that's probably all we've got time for. Start with you over there.
Hello.
Hi. What's the question?
How old do you think a baby T-Rex would have to be before it could swim?
Best question we've ever had.
Right, I can't see whoever asked the question because I'm blinded by the light. Oh, okay, hi. Wow. Dinosaurs like Tyrannosaurus are probably what we call super precocial. And this means that when they hatch out of their eggs, I was going to say like chickens, but I realise that's the third time I've mentioned chickens today. Like certain birds today, they would be able to walk and run around within minutes, certainly within hours, and certainly within a day. So we think that dinosaurs like Tyrannosaurus would have been able to look after themselves on the day that they hatched. Whether that means they would have been able to do something as dangerous as, you know, swimming across a short stretch of seaway, I mean, I'd be inclined to say yes. So we know that birds that are super precocial, there are birds that are able to, you know, fly on their first day of hatching out of the egg, and there's chicks of a certain bird in the South Pacific that have flown for like over 30 kilometres on their first day of life. So using those living animals, we can make some really intelligent guesses about dinosaurs like T-Rex. So I would say yes, they could swim within days of hatching. The individuals we show aren't days old, they're meant to be several months old, but that's a good question, thank you.
And my daughter is 18 years old and still hasn't learned how to tidy her bedroom. So, over here we have a white...
Okay, hello.
Confident.
I have 2 questions for you.
Ooh. Let's hear them first before we agree to let them both go by.
Okay, the first one is, like, you know when you were, like, explaining the movie, you said you time traveled. Is that true?
So what's the second question?
The second question is, are those dinosaurs real?
The answer to both those questions is yes and yes.
And finally, if we could have to speak for all of the adults in the audience to prove that we are all essentially dinosaur fanatics until we die, could we please... There is an episode with dinosaurs and snow, which I think are the 2 best things in the world put together in one scene.
So, as the ambassador for all the adults in the audience, I think I speak for, no pressure, right? I think I speak for everyone by saying you've just done the most amazing, incredible job. With these reconstructions, so incredible. The thing I couldn't get my head around was there's real animals there. There's real shrimps and fish and lizards and termites. How does a shrimp take a bit of scale off of Mosasaurus? Like,
Well, if we told you, we'd have to kill you.
Well, I was going to say you're going to have to just watch it over and over again, work out what's real and what's not.
There is a making of real somewhere, isn't there? At some point,
Well,
I think it comes afterwards.
yeah.
But we've signed bits of paper that said if we said anything about it, someone would come after us. I think Steve Jobs would rise. No, let's not get into that.
The answer is to just forget all that. When the first frame starts, imagine and just let yourself be in that world. That's what we wanted to do for you. We wanted you to feel like we had transported you there. So try not to think of that. Just enjoy it as another planet Earth, but just set 66 million years ago.
So just like the dinosaurs, all great things have to come to an end. Well, no, they don't, of course, because chickens continue as we become aware. So, but that's all we have time for anyway, chickens or not. And so thank you very much for coming, and have a big thank you for the panel. Mike, Tim, and Gavin. So, if you have a subscription to Apple TV Plus, it starts on Monday, and it goes every day throughout the week. If you don't, I can give you my password.
Watch and tell us what you think. We'd love you to watch it. Thanks.
See you guys.
Thank you.